It was the intention of Israel and of the United States to expel as many as possible of the people of Gaza to Egypt. We know that that's the case because the United States government put before Congress a budget request, which included forcing people out of Gaza. It's in the budget request of 20 October. We know that because the Israelis have been talking about it among themselves. And ministers have been saying, the only solution is for them to go to Egypt.
Now, I'm very aware of the various statements made by members of the Likud party, documents indicating that they do intend to push Palestinians out of the Gaza Strip to Egypt. But it always appeared as though the Biden administration was very much against that. So what you're referencing, I want to know more about. What did you read in the budget?
The Biden administration has since turned against this because they were slapped in the face by the Egyptians and the Jordanians, who told them under no circumstances would we countenance helping you to ethnically cleanse Palestine. And under no circumstances would Egypt hand over a chunk of Sinai to be turned into a huge refugee camp for Palestinians who, as everybody knows, once they're expelled, will never be allowed to return. This is not a temporary project. The budget request from the Office of Management Budget to Congress on the 20th had a section under a heading called migration, and refugee assistance. And the key passage said these resources would support displaced and conflict-affected civilians, including Palestinian refugees in Gaza and the West Bank, and to address potential needs of Gazans fleeing to neighboring countries. Another passage says the crisis could well result in displacement across borders, in other words, into Egypt or into Jordan, and funding may be used to meet evolving programming requirements outside of Gaza. And then another passage says ensuring that Palestinians in Gaza, later on the president, under pressure from the Egyptians and the and the Jordanians, issued statements in which he said that we will ensure that Palestinians are not displaced to Egypt or other nations. So the pushback from the presumed host nations that Secretary of State Blinken was asking the Egyptians and the Jordanians to accept, the pushback from those countries is what forced the administration to change its policy. But this is a provision. It's on page 40 of a very long document that was sent by OMB to the Speaker of the House on the 20th of October. That was their intention.
Wow.
We don't only have it from the Egyptians who were screaming bloody murder and the Jordanians who were screaming bloody murder. We have it from their own document.
It's incredible.
It's disgraceful. Yeah. It's not.
It is disgraceful. It's absolutely disgraceful. But what's also disgraceful is the fact that the first time I hear about it is watching an interview that you do, rather than hearing it from the wonderful political journalists here in the United States that are supposed to walk us through the various budget proposals that come from members of Congress and the executive branch. Of course, we don't get that information. So that's also disgraceful. Professor Khalidi, thank you so much for being generous with your time. I really appreciate this conversation. I would love to have you back on in the future. Thank you.
I'd be happy to do it again. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. We also love it if you hit the join button below because that makes you a member, and members allow us to be independent, honest. We can be as progressive as we want, no corporate media influence, and that's all because of you guys. We love doing the show with our members. Hit the join button, become one of the Young Turks.